It's not every day that you get to be in front of a person like Colin Wayne, world-class, serial entrepreneur, self-made multi-millionaire, CEO of Redline Steel, the largest American steel manufacturing company, former sergeant of the U.S. Army, and world-famous fitness model. When I told Colin that I had started my fitness journey, he quickly said that he would be available to support me in any way. I took him in the offer and asked if my wife and I could spend the day with him in Alabama. Of course, he said yes. Our road trip started in Texas, a 15-hour drive to his home in Madison, Alabama.
Alabama, here we come.
I keep on running back to you. I can't lose this time. And no matter what I do, I can't lose my. I keep on running back to you. I can't lose this time.
In this episode, Colin will take us through a series of his secrets and philosophy used to achieve his legendary physique, including the supplementation, diet, workout regimen, and a brutal bicep workout. When did you start with your fitness journey, and what motivated you to start?
Started working out in June of 2009. I was, 19 years old. Joined the military in 2006. And I was at Fort Bliss, Texas, and a former platoon sergeant had already deployed, and he was talking to me and he said, you know, Colin, you need to find some type of hobby, whether that's like learning how to play guitar or figuring out something that's going to pass time for you and get your mind off of war in general. And so I picked up working out, and that was on my way to Iraq in 2009, 11 years ago, and just haven't ever stopped since.
In 2009, Colin was serving in the military and weighed 145 pounds. Over the course of the next 3 years, he used training as a way to deal with the pressure of being overseas in the military. He focused on making small progress daily, and by 2012, he was at 215 pounds. When you first started, what was that first goal that you had? Do you remember?
Yeah, so my first goal was, to land any fitness magazine cover. That was my first goal. And I remember I had just signed with Shred's supplement company. Ironman Australia was my first one. I remember reaching out to the chief editor, his name's Dan something in Australia. And I established a great relationship with him first before I asked anything. And I remember, that was like one of those pinnacle moments in my life when I landed the cover and I saw what it was gonna look like prior to it being released. And it was just an unreal feeling. I remember calling my mom and one of my good friends, and it was just one of those, I just wanted to work towards landing a publication.
Like Fit Expo, nationwide!
Within the first 3 years of being a fitness model, he landed over 50 magazine covers. At the time, even more fitness covers than The Rock. Traveling across the globe, working alongside the best photographers and other fitness stars, including his role model, Greg Plitt.
Colin Wayne Media, mother.
You know, Greg Plitt, he was a role model for me when I first started in training, being that he was in the military, I was in the military, and I used that as inspiration to just drive.
Before there was your favorite fitness influencer, there was Greg Plitt.
second by second, you lose the opportunity to become the person you want to be. Or you can stop making excuses and take charge of your fucking life.
Greg Pitt passed away in 2015, and at the time of his passing, he was one of the most influential fitness superstars in the world. He was one of the original social media influencers in the fitness space that sparked a new generation of leaders. Colin was able to work alongside Greg before his passing. He had always been a huge inspiration for him. I challenge you to watch one Greg Pitt video. It will have you doing burpees and push-ups before the end of it.
What I would want to know is, because maybe for you, you feel like you're not in the best shape, but you still look really good. So it's like, how do you maintain a good physique year long?
Yeah, so I think like, for me, like I would say I'm pretty advanced knowing how my body responds to different foods. Diet is key though. Like at the end of the day, people think, oh, I can go work out and get your hour in and that's it. But it doesn't end there. So what you drink, what you eat, how much water you intake, like what type of supplementation are you taking? Like there's so many different important criticals to that foster a great physique or at least above average physique. So, but diet is key, number one. I don't train abs, by the way, ever. I don't train abs. It's not necessary. You get lean enough and it's gonna dial in.
So what is your meal? Like what is, because I know you say you do intermittent fasting, right? So what does the meal look like?
You know, so now is different than when I used to do this for a living. I wouldn't necessarily advise this for everybody, and everybody's body's gonna react a little different. Greg Plitt did the same type of dieting, and it's just intermittent fasting. So I only eat once a day, and that's in the afternoon, the evening, almost nighttime, just because of my timing of when I get off work. And, you know, a typical meal, it's gonna vary. I'm not super strict right now on like watching how many calories or how many carbs. I'm not calorie counting. I'm not like, if it fits your macros, I can only do this much. I'm not writing in a journal. So I can pretty much eat anything within reason. Like I'm not eating a pizza every single day, but because my caloric deficit's so like lower than my output from me working all day, working out, that high intensity training, essentially I'm in just like a deficit, so I can lose body fat while I'm gaining muscle because of the type of training that I do. Typical meal could be ground turkey, and it's not even super lean. Like I don't like it, it's gross. 93.7's disgusting. I don't do tilapia. I used to. It's nasty. I don't like it. For some people, I do love seafood, but not tilapia. But I used to go to the extreme. I used to have, you know, cups that were measured to an exact key. I wouldn't even chew bubble gum, but you know, I wouldn't chew it at all when I was like super dialed in. And now it's just kind of like, this is like, I can get back in like magazine cover shoot shape within, I would say 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and really just dial that in. But still look great throughout the year. And it's not like hard on my body.
I gotta admit, intermittent fasting is not easy and not for everyone, especially when you're eating only once a day. Originally, we were supposed to have lunch with Colin, but he told us it was way too early to get his meal in. And not gonna lie, I was starving during the interview, and at the same time, I was craving that Alabama barbecue that I saw on the way. Oh yeah. His discipline is simply at another level. Make no mistake, he didn't get to this level overnight. It took years of experimentation and understanding how his body works.
So you spend so much time working, and how do you find that balance?
So finding balance with like work-life, family, balance of anything, like it's honest, like for me and most people that are trying to at least grow a business or super determined in their career path, it's hard to find, right? I can't work 10, 12 hours a day and spend that 10 to 12 hours with my family. It's just not, there's no such thing, in my opinion, as a true balance. I think you do the most that you can. And like, for me, like having, I'll spend 2 or 3 hours and I'm taken away from everything work related. Again, it comes back to that structure. When I get off of work, you know, whether that's, I don't have a time of like, I guess it's not structured. Whenever I get done with the day, it could be 7 o'clock at night. I get here, but then I'm gonna dedicate that time when I get home until I go to bed with my kids, before they go to bed with my wife. So it's just kind of, it's a separation, I guess, that line of separation.
Yeah, and I think also like with that, like it's not about the amount of hours, it's about being present.
Yes.
You know, being present. With
Absolutely.
it. Yeah, so I think a lot of people confuse those two things. And I'm in the same position as you are. For my entire fatherhood life, I've had businesses, and for me to be able to provide, you know, sometimes you have to sacrifice these things, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to be there when you're there. You know.
But it's the same thing at work, right? Finding employees that are really there and there mentally at the same time. Like when you got to have that separation of like devoted to whatever you're trying to do, and when you're in, you're all in.
His philosophy of being all in applies to everything, including the time in the gym. With that said, it's time to get a workout in with Colin at his personal warehouse gym, located at the headquarters of Redline Steel in Huntsville, Alabama, a 5-minute drive from his home.
This is the pump product, and then this is just like caffeine pre-workout stuff. Because most people have a lower developed chest. To get that illusion, you want to have like really, really big upper chest for guys. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Tip of the day: most like 99% incline movements for chest. Get you that Arnold super barrel chest.
But the commute ain't cheap. I'm on a 2-day week for all this rap these days, and we can still pitch the track to all the whack DJs. We're singing happy days, wearing tacky J's, and I'm just pumped that.
All right, guys. So we're in Huntsville, Alabama. We're training right now at my warehouse gym. So we got 110,000 square feet. It's really cool because we can do production. I can walk right out that front door and get a workout in any day of the week. So typically I train about 5 days a week. Tut style training, hit, circuit, all of that. I got about 45 minutes per workout. I'm just curious, in the comment section, comment below if you prefer to train in heat or cold.
Fourth year in the promised land. Watch it, I promise, man. If you ain't looking close, we gon' look like an industry plant. Flex it, I really can't.
Yeah, about that same motion. And if you want, instead of slow going up, blast up, and then go slow going down.
Rappers look like pollo meat and froyo sweet, so yo soy like so low key. Alright, stop. I need to smile some. It's been a while, son. Go ahead. He picked me up to sit apart from all the cries.
Am I looking more like Colin?
Little bit, like a baby size.
I need tattoos though.
Need some tattoos?
Yeah.
I'm sure you can edit that in.
I'm in the backseat, really tryna hold it down. And if you up now from the lost and found, and get your hands up high and your shoulders down, and said we could turn the whole world around. I'm in the backseat, really tryna hold it down. And if you up now from the lost and found, and put your hands up high.
One more. That's it. Last one. Last set. Make it count, brother.
That was the most brutal bicep workout I've done. Susie and I were sore for about a week straight. One thing that I learned while training together is that he keeps the momentum from one movement to another, never really taking any breaks. At the most, 30 seconds, maybe a minute, which keeps your heart rate up, increasing your cardiac output, and at the same time pumping blood to the selected muscle group for accelerated growth. You obviously take pride in looking, having an aesthetic build.
I think that's important, you know. I think like your body's a representation of how like your mind and everything's like adaptive to the way that you want to be. So I guess military, I like structure. I like this time, right place, right uniform. I like some type of formed accountability where I can place on myself. And I'm like an extremist. For example, like last year, my goal was to hit 1 million orders with my company. We didn't hit it, right? We were only 3 years old at that time. And I hit like 800, maybe like 800,000. And I was pissed at myself. I was upset, man. And to have that mentality of like, I set a goal, I didn't hit it, other than looking back and saying, oh, well, you did great. 800,000 orders within 3, most people would say that.
Yeah.
Most people would. For me, it's the opposite. It's, you did not do what you were supposed to do, and it's self-sabotaging to a degree, but it propels me so much further.
His company, Redline Steel, recently shipped out its 1.2 millionth order, and has now sold over 5 million individual steel products across the world.
Supplementation, I know you mentioned supplements. I mean, it's part of your routine. What are some of the main ones?
Supplement wise, it was a lot more strict when I was doing this full time. That's all I did. I take this multivitamin. I take a vitamin like a C. There's 2 of those tabs that I take a day. I get vitamin B shots, and then I'm prescribed HCG and Test, which is a slow actant. I think it's synthionate.
Yeah.
That's
what I want to get.
My pre-workout is, I take a pre-workout usually for like energy and pump. And then I take it's kind of hydrolyzed isolate whey is what my recommendation would be, but I don't do it as often. So I used to do it a lot more. A lot of people, there's so many different proteins out there on the market, looking at what to take, when to take it, all of that is critical because you can either, your body's going to use it at the right time. So looking at like hydrolyzed isolate, it's the fastest absorption for protein. So you need to take it immediately after your workout or your body's not going to absorb it the way that it's intended to do.
Got it.
So I don't do it as often, but I do take it probably like once or twice a week. I know I need to do it more.
Yeah.
I just don't really do it as much as I used to. So what's y'all's goal? What do you want to do?
This is the problem that's going on right now. When you go through your Instagram or your Facebook, everybody just looks amazing. Like, when I'm talking about influencers.
Yeah.
For the fitness space,
Yep.
everybody looks amazing. And I think it's almost like depressing to see that.
Yeah, it's a
When you're-
facade.
Yeah, and you're especially like somebody like me that we don't know much about fitness. We do, but like we don't really know the details of how to build your body or how to look like that.
Yeah.
It's almost depressing. Like, damn man, like why can't I look like that? But
Yeah.
fitness is more than just looking good. I think fitness is also about feeling good,
Yeah.
and we want to be the champion of that. Our company, we want to be the champion of people that are going from 0 to 1, and I feel Susie's like her story is very inspiring because she's somebody that was like that, having 4 kids, and then, from looking amazing 4 kids later, now like having trouble with weight issues.
Yeah. Well, it's so relatable.
Yeah.
And I tried everything. I tried the shakes, I tried the detox, the juices, the no carbs, everything, and nothing worked because I wasn't mentally dialed in either. So I was just following what I would see, and I didn't have somebody to guide me or to direct me. So.
Kind of like my mastermind that I put on, like, we made it where it's a requirement, $250,000 or more in gross revenue to be here. But for me, everybody that was there was almost $1 million revenue to $16 million.
Yeah.
But it propelled me even further mentally by surrounding myself with all of these other people. And so it's almost like a neat way to network and to propel you further and to not get like complacent. And to think outside of the box and to always be like adaptive learning. Like I want to learn in fitness, different styles, working out with you, and you can as long as you don't have that channeled block of I'm the best and that arrogance that most people have, unfortunately, in the fitness industry. The bigger that you get, the worse that it gets. But I guess just vulnerable and open to learning. I think that's important on so many different aspects of life.
Yeah, we also believe that like fitness can do so much for your life.
Yeah.
Health and fitness, like with this, I'm sure, and maybe you can answer this. Like, there's a correlation between the discipline you have to get to that body you want, to reaching your goals in your business.
That's the biggest hurdle. Is can you mentally overcome what you want to? If it's uncomfortable, most people push away. Mm-hmm. I'm a little opposite. I thrive under pressure. That's where, diamonds are made from pressure. So like when things are going great. I usually throw a wrench in there. It's almost self-sabotaging, but we propel so much further, but it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable, but I thrive for that. And I think that's a big separator between the good, mediocre to the great, is how they do from those setbacks. And is it going to set you up for the future, or are you going to cave under pressure?
Correct me if I'm wrong. When you were injured, you were hit by a missile. Is that correct?
Rocket.
Yeah, you were actually working out during that time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at May 3rd, 2012. I was in Afghanistan, in the Paktika province, which is literally right on the Pakistan border. And 107 millimeter rocket impacted about 3.5 feet from me. And through the grace of God, I survived. I had shrapnel that went all the way through my leg, almost lost it. I had permanent nerve damage in my back, L1 through L3, had to have lumbar block fusion surgery. And then tinnitus in my left ear, and treated for a TBI, traumatic brain injury. But even though like the gym almost killed me, I turned that into my career. So that setback was still a setup. And you'll find that's very, very common. That's why I don't want to change anything about my life, because it's made me the story that I am right now.
Give me liberty, give me freedom. America has always been a place where anyone can create the life they envision. But opportunities will never come knocking on your door, much less wait for you to be ready. Remember that every second that passes, you lose the opportunity to be what you want in life. Colin has always been a visionary. He has manifested his dreams through discipline, hard work, and passion. Make no mistake, the legend of Colin Wayne has just begun.